The average person lives in a state of constant social surveillance. They are their own prison guards, checking the mirrors of other people's eyes to see if they are still acceptable. But when a loner stops looking for that reflection, the prison walls don't just crack, they vanish. Consider the public solitude threat. You walk into a busy restaurant or theater alone. You sit, you order, and you enjoy the experience without a phone to hide behind. To the crowd, you are an anomaly. They see your solitude and immediately try to project pity onto you. But when you look back at them with genuine contentment, their pity turns to fear. They realize that while their happiness is a group project, yours is a solo mission. Your ability to be alone in public exposes their greatest insecurity, that they cannot exist without an audience. Then there is the no explanation boundary. Someone tries to pull you into an obligation or asks for a favor that drains your soul. Instead of the standard panicked excuse, you simply say, "No, I can't do that," or "I'm not interested." You offer no lies to soften the blow. This lack of a social filter is terrifying to the collective. By not giving an excuse, you deny them the chance to negotiate your time or guilt-trip your conscience. You have removed the hooks they use to pull people into line. You are a closed door they cannot kick down. People fear the unbothered loner because you are a non-combatant in the war for status. Most people are fighting for clout or approval. When you refuse to fight, you make their entire battlefield look ridiculous. You aren't losing the game, you've walked off the court entirely. Think about the reputation non-combatant strategy. Someone spreads a rumor or a lie about you. The group waits for your defense, your anger, or your tears, but you do nothing. You continue your life as if the gossip is just background noise in a language you don't speak. This silence is the ultimate power move. It tells the aggressor that they aren't important enough to warrant a response. It proves that your identity is held in your own hands, not in the mouths of others. They fear you because they cannot destroy what they did not build. The unbothered loner is dangerous because they have achieved psychological autonomy. You have stopped believing in the opinion. When society realizes they have no rewards you want and no punishments you fear, they lose all power over you. You are finally, truly free. The public solitude threat is a masterclass in psychological disruption. Most people are other-directed. Their sense of self is a composite of the feedback they receive from the crowd. If they are alone in a crowd, they feel like a ghost. They use their phones as digital shields to signal to the world that they are connected to someone, somewhere. When you sit in a crowded space, unmasked and unaccompanied, you are breaking the first law of social safety, the law that states we must always be part of a pair or a pack. The crowd watches you with a mixture of suspicion and a strange subconscious dread. They want to believe you are lonely because that validates their own desperate need for companionship. But when you look up from your meal with a look of absolute grounded peace, you shatter their narrative. You are showing them that it is possible to be whole without being half of something else. This makes them feel deeply insecure about their own dependencies. They fear you because you have mastered a skill they haven't even begun to learn, the ability to be your own best friend. You aren't missing out on the group, you are opting in to yourself, and that is a level of self-sufficiency that most people find absolutely threatening. The no explanation boundary is the ultimate tool of the untouchable loner. Society runs on social euphemism, the art of lying politely to avoid conflict. When someone asks for your time, they expect a reason so they can judge whether that reason is valid. If you say you have a doctor's appointment, they accept it. If you say you're busy, they try to reschedule you. But when you simply say no, you are refusing to submit your life for their approval. If this resonates with you, consider subscribing to support more deep dives like this. By refusing to provide an excuse, you are declaring that your will is the only justification you need. This causes an immediate short circuit in the social software of the other person. They try to find a hook to pull you back in, but there's nothing to grab onto. You aren't being difficult, you are being sovereign. You understand that every no followed by an anyway is a surrender of your freedom. By staying in the no, you are teaching people that your boundaries are made of stone, not sand. They fear your directness because it forces them to be direct in return, and most people are terrified of being that honest. You are the one who refuses to play the negotiation game, and in doing so, you win back your life. The reputation non-combatant mindset is the most efficient way to drain a social aggressor of their power. Gossip is a fire that requires the oxygen of your reaction to stay alive. When someone tries to smear your name or cancel your character within a social circle, they are inviting you to a duel. They want you to come out and defend yourself, to explain, to plead, or to get angry. Any reaction you give is a victory for them because it proves that their opinion of you matters. The unbothered loner, however, understands the dark psychology of indifference. By doing absolutely nothing, you are essentially saying that the aggressor is a non-entity. You are treating their attack like the buzzing of a fly, annoying perhaps, but not worth a conversation. This drives the aggressor into a state of frantic instability. They will escalate the rumors, hoping to finally find the nerve they can hit. But when they realize there is no nerve to hit, they are forced to confront their own irrelevance. You aren't ignoring the problem, you are starving it. You have realized that your character is what you are, while your reputation is only what other people think you are. Since you live in your character and not in their thoughts, you are immune to their weapons. There is a specific kind of fear that loners trigger in status seekers. Most social hierarchies are built on the fear of exclusion. People climb the ladder because they are afraid of the bottom. The loner, however, has set up a comfortable camp at the bottom, or off the ladder entirely, and is perfectly happy there. This makes the status seeker feel like their entire life's work is a joke. If you aren't impressed by their title, their car, or their social connections, you have effectively devalued their currency. They fear you because you are a market crash for their ego. They try to judgment-proof themselves by surrounding themselves with sycophants, but when they encounter your neutral, unbothered gaze, all their armor falls off. You aren't being mean, you are simply being unimpressed. This indifference is more painful to a narcissist than a direct insult. An insult is at least a form of attention. Indifference is an erasure. You are the one who proves that the emperor has no clothes, not by shouting it, but by simply refusing to look at the parade. The unbothered loner is also a threat to the cult of shared anxiety. Modern society bonds through co-ruminating, the act of getting together to worry about the same things. Whether it's the news, the economy, or office politics, the group expects you to share their frequency of low-level panic. When you remain unbothered, not because you're ignorant, but because you've decided to only worry about what you can control, you break the anxiety loop. The group perceives your peace as apathy or arrogance. They try to educate you on why you should be worried, but what they are really doing is trying to pull you back into the shared misery we discussed before. They fear your peace because it suggests that their anxiety might be a choice. If you can be calm in the same storm, it means their panic isn't required, it's just a habit. By staying in your center, you become a psychological mirror that shows them their own frantic state, and people hate nothing more than seeing their own lack of self-control reflected back at them. The laughter deflector is a specific tactic that unbothered loners use to dismantle social bullies and status climbers. In many social groups, teasing is used as a tool of domesticating individuals, a way to see who can be pushed and who will submit to the group's hierarchy. When someone makes a jab at you, they are looking for a specific chemical reaction, a blush, a stuttered defense, or a forced awkward laugh to show you can take a joke. The loner, however, gives them nothing but a neutral observation. You look at the person who told the joke with a calm, curious expression, as if you were watching a strange animal in a zoo. You might even ask, "Why did you feel the need to say that?" with zero anger in your voice. This clinical clarity is devastating. It strips the joke of its social cover and exposes the underlying aggression. The bully is suddenly the one who feels socially awkward. They fear you because you have shown that you cannot be trained through shame. You have realized that shame is a ghost that can only hurt you if you believe in it. By refusing to feel embarrassed, you turn the embarrassment back onto the source. This is the dark psychology of the mirror. The unbothered loner doesn't absorb the blow, they simply allow it to pass through them and hit the person who threw it. You are the one who understands that your social status is a fictional story written by people who don't know you, and you have simply stopped reading the book. You have realized that the only person who can truly humiliate you is yourself. And since you have decided to treat yourself with dignity, the world's attempts at humiliation are just empty noise. By the time they realize they can't break you, you've already forgotten they were even trying. One of the most profound things society fears about the unbothered loner is their informational independence. Most people get their truths from the consensus of their tribe. They believe what their friends believe, and they hate what their friends hate. This makes them easy to predict and even easier to control. The loner, however, is a manual thinker. They don't download the standard operating procedure of the group. They read, they observe, and they reach their own conclusions, often in total isolation. This makes the loner a variable in a world of constants. You are the person who might actually change their mind based on evidence rather than social pressure. This is seen as a threat to unity. The group fears that your independence will contaminate the others, making them realize that they don't have to agree with everything the loudest voice says. You are punished with the label of contradiction. They will call you contrarian or argumentative, even if you were just being honest. But the unbothered loner doesn't care about the label because they value the integrity of the thought more than the safety of the group. You would rather be correct and alone than wrong and popular. This commitment to the truth is the ultimate social weapon. It makes you immune to gaslighting and propaganda. While the rest of the world is being swept away by the latest moral panic or trend, you are standing on the bedrock of personal observation. You aren't rebellious for the sake of it, you are simply untethered from the collective hallucination. They fear you because they can't use peer pressure to make you see a circle as a square. You are the one who trusts your own eyes more than their shared story, and in a world built on stories, that makes you the most dangerous person in the room. The unbothered loner has mastered the art of the exit, and this is perhaps their most terrifying trait. Most people are held hostage by their social obligations. They stay at the party they hate, in the job that drains them, and in the conversation that bores them, all because they are afraid of the social friction of leaving. They fear being the one who breaks the flow. The loner, however, has a very low friction threshold. The moment an interaction stops providing value or starts violating their peace, the loner simply leaves. They don't wait for a natural break, and they don't offer a performance of apology. They just exit. This sudden absence creates a vacuum that the group doesn't know how to fill. It sends a powerful message: my time is more valuable than your comfort. Society fears this because it proves that you are voluntary. You aren't there because you have to be, and you aren't staying because you're scared to leave. You are there by choice, and that choice can be rescinded at any second. This puts the power of the interaction entirely in your hands. You aren't a participant in their social play. You are a guest who can walk out of the theater whenever the script gets lazy. This dark psychological advantage forces people to be more careful around you. They realize they can't take your presence for granted. You are the one who understands that walking away is the ultimate form of negotiating power. By being willing to lose the connection, you are the only one who is actually free to be yourself. You aren't flaky, you are self-prioritizing in a world that tries to shame you for having a self at all. There is a shadow power in the loner's refusal to explain. When we explain ourselves, we are essentially asking for permission. We are saying, "Here are my reasons. Please tell me they are acceptable." The unbothered loner has realized that no is a complete sentence. When you refuse to explain your choices, why you didn't go to college, why you're single, why you quit your job, or why you don't like a certain person, you are keeping your source code private. You are refusing to give people the map they need to manipulate you. If they don't know why you do what you do, they don't know how to pivot your logic. This creates a sense of unpredictability that society finds deeply disturbing. They will try to analyze you, projecting their own pathologies onto your silence. They will say you are cold, traumatized, or arrogant, but the loner knows that these labels are just desperate guesses. By staying silent, you are maintaining a strategic ambiguity. You are the black box of the social system. You can see out, but they can't see in. This informational asymmetry gives you the upper hand in every interaction. You aren't hiding a secret, you are simply refusing to give away your power of mystery. You have realized that the more people know about you, the more levers they have to pull. By giving them nothing, you become leverless. You are the one who understands that your truth is not a public utility, and you are the sole administrator of who gets access to the data. The judgment-proof loner has reached a state of emotional minimalism that the crowd finds almost supernatural. Most people's emotions are reactionary. If someone praises them, they are high. If someone insults them, they are low. They are like puppets whose strings are being pulled by every person they meet. The loner, however, has internalized their validation. They have a core identity that is so solid that the weather of other people's opinions cannot reach it. You might hear a criticism, and instead of feeling a sting, you simply process it as data. If the data is useful, you use it. If it's just noise, you discard it. This surgical separation of the self from the opinion is what society fears most. It means you are non-reactive. You cannot be provoked into a fight, and you cannot be flattered into a bad deal. You have broken the feedback loop of social control. They fear you because you are stable in an unstable world. You are the anchor while they are the driftwood. They try to rattle you, not because they hate you, but because they are jealous of your stillness. They want to prove that you are just like them, vulnerable to the stings and arrows of the tribe. But when you remain unbothered, you are proving that there is a higher way of living. You are the living evidence that self-possession is more valuable than social belonging. You were the one who realized that the opinions of others are just vibrations in the air, and you have simply decided to stop tuning in to that frequency. In the final act of the unbothered loner's journey, you realize that the fear society has for you is actually a hidden form of respect. They don't fear you because you're evil. They fear you because you're free. You represent the road not taken. The life where you don't have to pretend, perform, or apologize for existing. You are the mirror that shows them the cost of their own belonging. Every time you stand alone and remain unbothered, you are silently asking them, what would you be if you weren't afraid of what they think? And that is a question most people are terrified to answer. You have learned that judgment is just the tax that the mediocre try to levy on the sovereign. By refusing to pay the tax, you have become a social outlaw in the best sense of the word. You aren't breaking the world, you are just living outside its jurisdiction. You have found the center of the maze and realized that the walls were made of paper all along. You have realized that loneliness is just the word the fearful use for freedom. Don't look back at the crowd with bitterness. Look back with compassion, but do not rejoin them. The air is thinner and colder on the path of the loner, but it is the only place where you can breathe pure truth. Stay in your stillness, stay in your power, and remember, the only way they can judge you is if you stand in their court. If you stand in your own truth, you are the judge, the jury, and the only authority that matters.